What kind of disgusting, despicable lack of respect is that Billy What's-His-Name show booking a match for the total package Lex Luger and Super Brawl? Super Saturday? What is it? I don't even know what it's called. What is it called?
Super Brawl Saturday.
Super Brawl Saturday? Can he afford to pay me to wrestle around? I don't know. I'm one of the biggest legends and stars ever in this. God! And your t-shirts are too tight too, Billy! And you book a match with me against Ryan Killings? Look at me! I'm a total package! I will rip him apart! I'm pissed now!
Welcome everybody to Juice Pro Wrestling episode 41. Good and plenty. Plenty of good going around the wrestling world these days, hence the clever name. With me today is a returning Butchman Lee, back for his first back-to-back in a long time.
Hey, since week 1, I believe.
It's all right. We got a good show here for you guys today. We're going to be talking a lot about upcoming wrestling events, some news and what's going on in the wrestling world, some insight into things, but mainly a lot of stuff with promotions we got going on somewhat semi-locally in the Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana area. There's a lot of shit coming up lately, a lot of unbelievable shit too. So we'll go ahead and dive right into that real quick, starting with AAW. For those of you that aren't familiar with AAW, they are based out of Chicago. They have probably some of the sickest booking I've ever seen for like indie shows. I mean, I've talked about them before and sang their praises on the show many a times. They pretty much anybody that's going to WWF or what's now going to be All Elite Wrestling, you'll probably see these guys there before. If just for instance, Trevor Lee, who was just released, contract just ended with Impact Wrestling, former X Division champion. I think maybe one-time tag champion there too. Just signed with NXT. This will be his last appearance for the promotion.
Kevin Nash used to be an X Division champion.
Did he?
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did, I swear.
Makes sense. Anyway, so AAW presents The Final Stand. Where's it at? When is it happening? It's going to be Saturday, January 26th at the Logan Square Auditorium. Good place. Can we redo that?
No.
You're supposed to be like, no, we're live. No, we're live. Back out. So, yeah, the 26th of January, that's this month at Logan Square Auditorium. Played there back in the day with Decrypt and Origin. I think it was Origin. No, maybe it wasn't Origin. I can't remember. A long time ago. But a very cool place to go see a wrestling event and a show if you're into some heavy metal like I am. That's 2539 North Kedzie Boulevard in Chicago, Illinois. The bell time, 7:30 p.m., Doors open at 6:30. It's an all-ages event. Various ticket pricing. Front row, $60, and it looks like the lowest standing room is $20. So very affordable for all of you who, whether you work at McDonald's or the steel mill, you know. Tickets are on sale at aawpro.ticketleap.com. And just here's a list of some of the talent you'll see and some of the matchups. You have the huge return match, and I'm going to give you guys a little spoiler alert for those of you, because it hasn't aired yet. Impact recently did a set of tapings in Mexico, and the Lucha Brothers.
The best tag team in the world.
Puto.
Juicy Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, they love the Juicy Pro Wrestling. They won the Impact Tag Team Championships from LAX. So a return match from Homecoming. I didn't see that coming. Super fucking awesome.
I still don't like them using the name LAX.
I like it. At first, I was like, what the hell?
Hernandez will always be
Well,
LAX.
they came back, and they feuded against them, and they called them the OGs. And that was one of the better storylines in all of wrestling in 2018.
Is that the one where they did like the drive-by?
Yeah, dude, and the kids and shit. It was cool, dude. It was like, what the fuck, man? But yeah, no, they had Eddie Kingston came back and was basically like the leader, and you know, He led the OGs.
Right.
Homicide. I am kind of a little bit butthurt on something, though, JR.
What's that?
They when they brought LAX back in the Impact, which I think at the time it was still a fucking GWN or not GWN, GFW.
WGN.
Yeah, WGN, WNBC. They brought him back, and it was a cool stable because it was like 5 of them. It was like Conan. You had Diamante, who was a pretty awesome female wrestler, and then you had not Hernandez, but Homicide, and then Santana and Ortiz. So it was a cool clique. It was a mix of the old and new, and then it just kind of, for whatever reason,
Contract dispute.
who knows, And I think at even one point in time, Low Key was a member.
Right. And
Low Key, for those of you
Conan.
that don't know who Low Key is, he's the guy that says, and this is CNN. MLW World Heavyweight Champion Low Key. But anyways, LAX, red hot fucking tag team. They've put Impact Wrestling's tag team division on the fucking map in 2018. They got to be one in my top 5 tag teams in the whole industry right now.
Who would you say is the best in the tag team?
Young Bucks, in my
Out
opinion.
of all federations?
All
Young Bucks?
federations, hands down. Young Bucks, man.
Who
Look
would
what
win
they've
in
done.
a fight? Young Bucks or the Lucha Brothers?
I don't know. I know AEW is trying hard to make that happen.
Right?
That's a good one. Lucha, I'd say probably my top maybe 3 tag teams right now would be Young Bucks, LAX, and the Lucha Bros.
What about the B team?
As Bobby Heenan used to say back in the day, who? So anyways, you got the Lucha Brothers squaring off against Phoenix, squaring off against
Really?
themselves. Yeah.
Phoenix is going to
That's what happens when you got to read shit on here. I can't memorize everything, I like to get a little RVD 420 sometime. Whatever. The Lucha Bros versus LAX. This time coming into it, the Lucha Bros will be the Impact Tag Champions. Whether or not they will bring those belts with them and that's acknowledged, I do not know. So you have to turn up and find out. You also have Kimber Lee versus Jessica Havoc. Shout out to That's Not the Finish podcast or Boys in New York, who just did a pretty badass interview with Kimberly. So you can check that out. You can find them on Twitter and Google That's Not the Finish podcast. Plugs. You also have Ray Horace versus Trey Miguel, who is one of the members of the Rascals in Impact Wrestling. Also appearing at this event is the AAW Heritage Champion DJ Z, who lives in Chicago. He's from Chicago, I think. I don't know if he's from Chicago, but I know he lives there.
Yeah, he's always doing local shows, even in
Valparaiso. Yeah. He was in Valpo. I think we missed that one, though.
Yeah. I think it was the one after we met Steiner and all of that.
Somebody say, Scotty! Me and my brother, I was in Valpo with fat asses! Give me a lap dance! Yeah! Oh, that was awesome on Impact. What was that, last week?
Yeah, Scarlett.
Scarlett Bordeaux.
But God,
Doing the lap dance
That double Steiner recliner was god awful.
Well, yeah, his arms aren't as
He needs
big
to
anymore.
never attempt a wrestling move again.
No. But, it was pretty fucking cool, though. Even though it was kind of, whatever. Steiner's a legend.
Like when he went to get up right before he did the double camel clutch, I thought his leg was gonna fall off.
Oh, it might.
Because he went to get up and he put his hand on his knee and his leg just he looked like Elvis.
Yeah, he's
Elvis.
getting old, dude.
Yeah.
He's getting old. A lot of injuries, a lot of juice.
I was hoping.
Which kind of sucks because had this been even 10 years ago, I would have liked to have seen him versus Brian Cage. Just battle of the bulges.
Right. Battle of the
the biceps. Also appearing are the AAW Tag Team Champions AR Fox and Myron Reed. You also have ACH. You got Trevor Lee. And what is probably his last appearance, considering he's signed to NXT. You have MJF, who is a recently signed AEW superstar. You got Fred Yehi, or Fred Yee. I don't know how you say that, so forgive me. It's Yehi, so you figure it out. Kurt Stallion, Jake something, probably my new favorite wrestler. You ever heard of this guy, Jake something?
Oh yeah.
Like, Jake who? Jake something. Jake who?
He fought that one guy.
Oh, yeah. That one guy was his name, too. Eddie Kingston, as we were talking about, who was with LAX for a brief moment and also managed the OGs and wrestled with them.
And the New Day.
Yep. You got the besties in the world, Desmond Xavier and Zachary Wentz. So you have all the Rascals appearing. Ace Romero, another huge indie guy. Mance Warner and Josh Briggs. Also more to be announced, and cards subject to change. So yeah, that's another big AEW or AEW. What the
ARW.
fuck? Another big AAW show coming up here really soon. I know our buddy Derek Ratface Martha plans on attending if he hasn't bought his tickets already. So you can see him there and check out his band Blunt. They be doing that stoner shit.
The Last Stand.
You also have coming up now, our boy Mikey from Black Label Pro has put together quite a fucking amazing couple of months here. We'll start with February 2nd, BLP Unplugged in Crown Point, Indiana. That's at the RDS Gym. I have never attended an event at this place, so I don't know what it will be like. For what I gather and what I hear, it's a smaller venue, a little bit more intimate. Should be pretty badass. Black Label puts on one hell of a show, if you guys have heard. We've had Mikey on. We've also reviewed the event in November, the Big Trouble in Little Crown Point event, which JR I got to meet PCO at.
That's awesome.
He's your new favorite hero, isn't he?
Is. I like his googly eye.
Yeah. You can get tickets for it at blpunplug.bpt.me, or you can go to blpwrestling.com.
Can I get a BLT on the BLP?
Can I get a BL Shmee? What's a BL Shmee? I don't know, but it's got Bob Hoskins on top.
Oh!
You're the man. I'm the man. Wait, I almost fucked that up, so never mind. Trying to pull up right now the list of talent that are going to be here at Black Label Pro. And I'm so fucking prepared for you guys, you know. Feel free to interject anytime, Butch Manley, and throw some of that.
We do know one surprise that's going to be at the Black Label Pro. A certain podcast host.
Well, yeah, that's we'll get to that one here in a second, because that's a whole separate animal that they're doing.
John Laurinaitis?
I don't think it's Johnny Laurinaitis. What would they call him? Johnny Ace?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's him. Try again.
Joe Laurinaitis.
No.
Different animal.
Yeah, maybe. Anyways, so getting back to BLP Unplugged. Some of the matchups you have Kristen Statlander versus Bear Bronson. You're going to have Savannah Stone versus Alley Cat, who Alley Cat's pretty awesome. Checked her out at the previous event they had in November. You're going to have Kobe Durst, who is the Indiana State champion, versus Jake Parnell. You're going to have the Workhorseman. I'm just botching everything up tonight, man. You know what? Real quick, if it sounds like I'm a little disheartened or not my usual self, some motherfucker nailed my car in a KFC parking lot, so I will never eat KFC again. I hate paying insurance for people that don't do jack shit about it. And the guy hit and ran, man. You know, so if I saw him, I'd probably powerbomb him through the fucking concrete. So yeah, Sad Kampf versus the Workhorseman. You're going to have Ethan Page, who was the Black Label Pro heavyweight champion of the world, and BMD versus Josh Abercrombie and Anthony Green. You're going to have Gary J versus Tyler Bateman, and brother of WWE superstar Drew, Rory Gulak, versus Daniel McCabe, or McCabe, however you say that. I hope I didn't botch your name, but that's just some of the card you'll see at BLP Unplugged. They also have merch now set up, so you can check that out and buy some of their sweet merch. I know, like, Mikey's got a million fucking things coming at you, so should be pretty easy to choose what you want. There's all kinds of different designs for him and for her. And for all of us. It's blpmerch.com. So once again, that's blpmerch.com. Check it out. Support, buy some shit. Treat them right. They also have, now, JR, you were wanting to get into this. You were wanting to get into the huge event they have coming up.
Yes, I believe it is titled, there it is.
It is. And what's the date? You have the date on that?
The date for that
Thought you knew.
Is March 9th, 2019.
And that, there it is, will be, from what I understand, their tag team title tournament. They're going to be introducing tag team titles.
And that'll be at the On the Square Sports Academy in Crown Point, Indiana.
Nice. Good to see him back there. That's a great place. That's Big Trouble in Little Crown Point happened there. Great place to see a show. I'm sure all this will be on Power Slam TV. That's where they do a lot of their broadcasting. Bruce Pritchard and Conrad Thompson of rival podcast Something to Wrestle are going to be there. It's like a 2-for-1 type deal that night. So you can go do the tag team title tournament, check that out, see some badass wrestling.
Now, is this actually confirmed, or is it just
No, this is confirmed. This
rumor?
is an innuendo. I see what you're doing there. This is nice. Actually, I just got an update, a new match alert for BLP Unplugged. It's going to be AJ Gray and Logan James. They're going to be in singles action at BLP Unplugged. So that was literally just added right fucking now. So you guys in the JP Woo, you heard it here first. And a new tag team, the Philly and Marino experience of Philly Collins and Marino Tenaglia, I think that's how you say it, have become the second team to enter the BLP tag team title tournament. And whoop, there it is, which the first team is consisting of World Heavyweight Champion Ethan Page, All Ego Ethan Page.
And Indiana State Champion Kobe Durst.
Kobe, don't call me Fred Durst. Yeah, bring it on. So super cool. If you guys hit up Facebook, Black Label Pro, they have all their information for all these events on here. So you can get the whole lowdown. And as they announce more matches for this tag team title tournament, you can follow them on Twitter at BLP Wrestling. Check them out. Support these guys. Super cool. Love what they're doing in the region, and they're doing it big. They also have, don't forget, in April. So they have events coming up here in February, March, and April. In April, on April 5th, which is kind of a bad day for rock and roll for many reasons, at 4 p.m. at White Eagle Hall in Jersey City, New Jersey. It's going to be the Adventures in Wrestling. Kind of reminds me of Adventures in Babysitting. Does it not? I think it does.
No.
They're going to be a part of the collective, which is going to feature like GCW and a bunch of other promotions. A lot of shit going on there, too. Like I said, you guys tune in to Facebook and hit up Black Label Pro and check out all the events they have going on.
Now, before we switch to another topic, the Whoop There It Is show is being advertised as 2 shows for 1 price.
Right.
Now, is Something to Wrestle going to be doing their show before the event, or?
That's a good question.
During?
That's why everybody needs to head to Facebook and ask what's going on. Send them messages, leave comments on their page. Feel free to ask any questions so you get the 411 and you can attend this event. I know we're going to try to be there as long as life doesn't happen. We shall be there.
I got to check and see if I have a gold Brother Love card.
I got to check my diaper. No, we're good. Next. Warrior Wrestling 4. I know we're still getting over that hangover of Warrior Wrestling 3. We just did the episode last week, episode 40. Kind of running down the card and the awesome time we had there. And once again, I want to send a huge shout out to Steve and everybody who put that show on. Amazing time. Thanks for all the love and sharing the podcast with your friends and family, Steve. I really appreciate that. Said some real kind words in my DM. So shout out to Steve. We love you at the JP Dub. And here's kind of a little heads up for you guys out there listening. Before Warrior Wrestling 4 takes place, we'll have the inside scoop as Steve will be returning to the show. Fuck yeah!
So when I give you nice words in your DMs, I don't get a shout out.
That's right. That's because, man, you're a recovering pet addicted person type guy.
But I'm getting help through listening to these 20 Jackie Chan albums.
Why does Jackie Chan have 20 fucking albums?
I don't know, but since 1984, he has released 20 albums. Just learned that yesterday, and God. I'm hooked.
What gives him the right?
He's got a beautiful voice.
He does. So 3 huge local promotions in Northwest Indiana and Chicagoland with a lot of shit coming up. You guys are going to have a lot to do, wrestling fans. February, March, and April. Between Black Label Pro, Warrior Wrestling, and AAW, there's a lot going on. As far as a more mainstream, of course, we got the Rumble coming up. That's got to be, is that this month?
I believe, if not this weekend, probably the next.
See, the thing for me though is, and like I was telling you before we went on air, I canceled my subscription again finally after months of not being able to figure out how the fuck to do
Yeah,
it.
you just kept forgetting.
I just kept forgetting. I finally canceled it, and I'm like, fuck, the Rumble's going to come on, and there's like the 4 big pay-per-views that you kind of want to watch by them, Mania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and the Rumble.
Right.
I'm still like, I want to do it. Hopefully I can go somewhere and we can all party and have a good time or whatever. I'm not pumped for it. I'm not stoked.
No.
I'm not even stoked for WrestleMania, to tell you the truth.
Well, and they're
7 hours of fucking me wanting to punch myself in the cock bag.
and I guess John Cena's return isn't getting the reaction that WWE was hoping for.
Well, nice. Why would it? And here's a quick little segue. Because I know you were talking how you wanted to kind of spread the word on the, what's his name, Lars Sullivan,
Yeah.
the ogre-looking fucker who he's having anxiety
he
attacks.
Looks like Snitsky started to melt.
Yeah, he looks like Snitsky and Sloth had a baby.
Yeah, there, perfect.
Maybe Quasimodo was in there as a menage a trois. But yeah, there was a story, and you guys can Google it because I'm not exactly sure, and I don't want to mislead people, but he did make some derogatory marks, whether they were racial or just insensitive. I do not know. I cannot remember. I briefly saw the story somewhere. I don't really care much for him as a professional wrestler, so I don't spend too much time worrying about what the fuck he's doing. Although I do kind of, I think he'd be like a cool
like him.
monster gimmick because he's got that fucking weird looking body. You know?
Right.
But anyways, so that came out. It never really kind of broke big, and it didn't seem like he was getting punished. Because right after I heard that story, it's like next thing you know, he's going to SmackDown or Raw. So it's like, hey,
Right.
buddy, good job. Say some fucked up shit, and you get promoted. Goddamn!
Yeah. That's
So-
pretty much how it goes.
Yeah, pretty fucked up shit. But then now the latest story is he's missed several events, or at least a couple that I'm aware of, and because of anxiety. So
Hey, that's a real thing, man.
I'm sure it is.
I gotta say, as I've gotten older, I've
Yeah.
started to feel the effects of it more in life, and it's a thing.
Yeah, fuck it. Hey, man, life's a beach. What does Lil Wayne say? It doesn't matter what Lil Wang says. You like that, Lil Wang?
So
Yeah, so I just wanted to touch on that briefly. Who
you
knows?
want to touch on Lil Wang?
No, but as it refers to Lars Sullivan, I brought that up because the rumor was he was going to be Cena's fucking opponent in Mania.
Well, yeah, that's still the hopes. I guess next week they're gonna try and debut him.
We'll
he was
see what
supposed
happens.
to debut already, but then just like he isn't returning anybody's calls and stuff, and so Vince is starting to get pissed at Triple H because I guess Triple H was the one that was pushing for him to get the promotion to.
Well, that's not
to the
Trips'
main roster.
fault. I mean, this guy's having a mental breakdown.
Well, yeah, but the plans that they had are now falling through, and I guess it was Triple H was the one that was wanting him up so bad, and they were building because the way I heard it, it was going to be a mega push.
Hmm.
So they were putting him straight to the main
Well,
event.
because he's got one of those ogre huge
Right,
fucking
right.
bodies. Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
whatever. It would have been cool, but after hearing all this shit, and it's like, man, maybe this guy is potentially a piece of shit in real life. It's
Yeah.
kind of like
JBL's a piece of shit. In real life.
Yeah, no, but here's the thing: I never liked JBL.
No.
I never fucking
I mean,
that whole gimmick. That he stole the Ted DiBiase's gimmick.
Well, every one of his gimmicks. All right, you got Justin Hawk Bradshaw.
Who?
Then you got Blackjack Bradshaw. Then you got Bradshaw, the APA. Then you just started going by JBL. They were all boring ass characters.
Yeah,
And
they
he
had
was
to
a
do something
dick.
to get him over.
Yeah.
I don't know if he ever really did get over.
No, I mean, I guess he's like really good with finances. Fuck,
Yeah,
he's not good
yeah, he
with
does some
wrestling.
news anchoring,
Yeah.
and he does a lot of charity work. But maybe that's to make up for him being such a huge cock.
Yeah, and a lot of charity is just to funnel money to yourself. So
Oh yeah, I like to fondle money on myself. I like some more. So if you
Yeah.
guys want to give it to me,
well, speaking of more money, Jerry Lawler just got a raise.
did he?
Yeah, because
Maybe that's
he-
because he's on shows talking
he's
about
been
AEW.
hyping up AEW, yeah, and Vince is like, hey, we don't want you going over there, so why don't you stay with us?
Yeah, they don't want him joining
Same
good
can't be
old
said for
JR.
Jim Ross, yeah.
Yeah, I there's a lot of rumor and speculation. Well, there has been since the original rumor of AEW several months back was it was Jericho, Jim Ross, and the Khans, and obviously the Bucks and Cody were somewhat
Donald
sprinkled in
Trumps?
there. We're gonna start a new promotion, and of
Right.
course Jericho denied it. And even on that Chris Van Vliet interview he did, he was like, I don't know where the hell that came from. That me and JR were starting a promotion. He's like,
Right.
that's never what it was. That's.
But he did say that Vince knew he was signing. He said he talked to him.
Well, yeah, he had talked to him about that. But as far as like the whole JR involvement and all that
Right.
shit, I know he's done with New Japan. WWE would not let him renew or do any kind of working deal with Access TV and New Japan. And then I think his deal runs up with WWE here soon.
Jim Ross?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe at the end of the month.
Yeah, I think he's just got like some kind of Legends contract or
Right,
whatever,
right. Anyway, Vince can try and forbid you from making money.
Yeah. So, whatever. He still lets John Cena come back, and Cena's. I want to know, anybody out there listening, feel free to leave this in the comments
He's a
section or on the
hypocrite.
JP Woo. That's our Facebook group, the Juice Pro Wrestling Universe. Not only is he a hypocrite, he's got a bald spot now.
That's why the hair is being grown out.
I think it's, yeah. Why?
Yep.
Here's my thing. If you're balding, why grow your hair longer? I mean, you can't comb that shit over. Look what Sting tried
Shawn
to do.
Michaels.
Oh, man, Sean. He's
Shawn
so weird
finally
with the
said
bald
fuck
head.
it and went with the juice look.
Oh, yeah, he did, but he don't look that good. He just looks like a fucking squirrel with a glass eye.
Say looks like a dick trying
Yeah,
to find something.
yeah, he's trying to find God, although I think he did, though. So kudos to him for that. Yeah, so John Cena's going bald. It's a little weird. It's weird now to think that we're finally over, and we have been, I would say, for like a good year, maybe two now, but it seems like the whole Cena era of WWE is finally fucking dead and buried.
No, because they're bringing him back.
Well, they're
now.
bringing
They-
him-
They
well, they're-
thought this was going to be
No, they're going to bring him back because he's making that transition much like The Rock did in the Hollywood. And
because Bumblebee bombed.
did it bomb? Is it even
I'm
out?
guessing. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, whatever.
Does anybody care?
I'm sure there's some little kids somewhere.
Bet you Nikki Bella don't. Because she's with that dancer dude now.
Is she?
Yeah. I called it from the beginning when you saw
Ted
those
Danson?
two together. No, his name's like Artemis or some shit.
Oh, Artemis Prime.
See, she didn't want no Bumblebee. She wanted the Artemis Prime.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but what I mean is, yeah, of course they're always going to bring him back, But as
Just
far
like
as
they're always
the
going to bring Hogan back, like
yeah,
come on,
but that's
enough is
fucking
enough.
awesome though.
Never bringing his old ass back.
Yeah, just like you're never coming back. But you know what I'm saying? It was so 10 plus
Such an
fucking years
asshole.
of him forced down our throats, man. Like, that's finally over. I mean, I'm so glad with his status with the company now. Go ahead, show up a couple times a year.
Well,
But-
you know what you're gonna get now? As soon as he's back to being healthy, Roman Reigns right back down your throat.
Well, probably, but
With
you know
Rock.
what? As far as that goes, it's not his fault. I mean, the whole leukemia thing. I'll be honest with you, listening right now, it kind of changed my perception on the guy. I do have, I feel for the dude. He's fucking human like me
It
and you.
doesn't change his in ring talent.
I don't think he's
likability.
necessarily that bad in
All
ring.
of us are susceptible to leukemia.
Yeah,
I mean,
his promos got fucking a little bit better. But yeah, he was a guy. No one likes people being force fed, especially in this day and age where every fucking fan is a smart fan or smart mark,
I mean,
whatever
look
you want
at
to call it.
Brock. Jesus.
I can't take it anymore.
Yeah,
Brock
I can't
Lesnar.
either. Yeah.
I don't at this point. I don't even fucking care if he goes back to UFC, dude. I'm just so sick of hearing
I
about
think
it.
everybody's just done with him at this point. It's like
Yeah, and it's funny because I just watched something this morning. A WWE posted about how was it? No, it was maybe it was a Cultaholic video or something. I don't remember. But anyways, the short end of that stick was they think it's good that he's sparingly shown and doesn't defend the title much because that adds more to the aura and gives it that big fight feel. I was like, yeah, okay, that may have been true.
it's
Like,
like fuck you to the people that
Yeah.
bust their ass every day.
well, and here's the thing, and I know Brock's still a draw, but come on, man, he's been back in professional wrestling now for what, 5 years, 6? What is it, 2019? I think he came back in 2012. So you do the math. Scott Steiner math.
Well, here's the thing. Okay,
I'm fed up.
Brock, shit got tired in WWE, went to UFC, became champ.
Got kicked out.
Yeah,
Couldn't
got
hack
kicked
in the
out.
NFL.
Went back to WWE. People got tired. Went back to the UFC. Got his ass kicked. Came back to WWE.
Well, he's still supposed to fight.
Let's boost his ego back up. Let's fucking give him the belt for 15 years. Then he'll go back to UFC and get his ass kicked again. And then, let's boost his ego back up. There comes a point where it's just like, move on from him. Like,
Yeah.
McMahon says, we're listening to the fans now. Well, then fucking get rid of Brock.
They're not listening to the fans. I
Yeah.
mean, that's just. I don't even know. I will tell you though, one thing I would like to talk about, because I do dog WWE. Well, I wouldn't even say I dog them a lot because I try not to talk about them. But I mean, they are who they are, and I don't care what wrestling podcast you are. You always have to go back to the E. I mean, that's they are who they are for a fucking reason.
We wouldn't be here right now if it weren't for them.
Right. If it weren't for that golden hero, oh yeah, the Macho Man, and guys like
That
that.
was good.
Yeah, that's he likes to drop by every now and then. But my whole thing, I was very well surprised, and I'm going to sing the praises on a couple of things for WWE right now. One being this past weekend we had the NXT UK takeover Blackpool.
The return of Tony Storm.
Tony Storm returned, won the NXT UK Women's Championship. So good job. We fucking love you for it. That was a good move on their part. And this show was all put together by Triple H. And I will tell you what, Bobby. That was what the fans out there were fucking nuts.
Yeah.
They were singing songs like the whole time. They were even singing like Vince, Are You Watching?
Really?
Yeah. And then Triple H cut the backstage interviewer off. He's like, you want to keep your job? I want you to keep your job. We don't, basically don't say the V word here. Like, yeah, see, Vince is probably watching almost everything,
Right.
I'm sure like some shit you don't care, like 205 Live, like the vanilla midgets.
Right.
But that show from the top to the bottom of the card was stacked. It was fucking awesome. We got to see Walter debut, who's this big German son of a bitch, and man, dude, he's badass.
For
dude.
those of you who haven't seen Walter,
Walter,
YouTube-
that's awesome. His name's just Walter.
Yeah. On YouTube, look up the match between Walter and PCO, Pierre Carl Ouellet.
Ule.
They had a match on the Joey Janela Spring Break show.
Love you, Joey Janela.
And it was fucking brutal.
To give you a chop chop.
By the end of the match, chop chop, not chub chub, but chop chop. By the end of the match, if you saw PCO's chest, it was like fucking purple
Mhm.
from all the chops and shit.
I heard, and they were talking about on his debut, how he was chopping, and it was so fucking loud.
Yeah,
dude.
like it literally looked like just fucking ground up hamburger.
He's a massive boy. Like when he, so Pete Dunne ends up retaining the NXT United Kingdom Championship.
He's been champ for what, 2 years now?
He's probably the longest reigning champ in fucking recent memory now, because they
Since,
did promote
since, Bruno.
Asuka to that. Well, Bruno had it for fucking years.
Yeah, like 12
Imagine if
years or
Andre
something.
would have had a belt, because he went undefeated for like almost 20 years.
Right.
Hogan was his first loss.
But Andre didn't need a belt.
No, he
That's
didn't
the
need a
thing.
belt. He's like, oh, belt. I couldn't even do it. I wish he would.
Want a peanut?
Oh man, I wish Andre was here today, but he's not. But real quick though, so the Walter comes in at the end of this match, right? Pete Dunne, who I like. Pete Dunne. I think the bruiserweight. I like his style. He is a small dude, but he's got like that brutal William Regal vibe to him,
Right, like the son of Regal.
Yeah, but he's pretty fucking cool. But man, he's such a small dude compared to Walter. Walter got in there, it looked like Andre standing next to Mean Gene.
Yeah.
But it still felt cool. There was a huge pop, man. Super awesome fucking car, dude. They start off with Mustache Mountain, Tyler Bate and Trent Seven, who are two super huge over guys over there in the UK. A huge surprise, Finn Balor coming out to replace some guy who was injured on the pay-per-view. So that was fucking awesome.
Really?
Well, they wanted the best in the fucking UK circuit. Finn Balor at one point in time was one of those guys. This one dude was talking, I think he was an Irish-born wrestler. I can't remember for the life of me the guy's name, because it was my first introduction to him.
Right.
But he was talking about, he's like, the best Irish wrestler ever. And then all of a sudden, Finn Balor, and it was cool. You know, it's cool for him to get that pop,
Right,
like the
right.
OG, triple OG of
Now,
the Bullet Club. You know,
Did he come out as Finn
No.
Balor, or was he the Demon?
he was Finn Balor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Demon's cool, but I don't like it because
Well,
it's a cop out because
He does it on pay-per-views, so that's why
He does,
I was
but
wondering.
he still hasn't done it in a long time. I mean, the
I
last
think
time
Survivor Series he did it.
and that was the first time in almost a year or something
Right.
like that. I loved him when he was with New Japan and on the Indies and shit because, dude, it was way better of a gimmick for him. And I think other than he's a great looking guy, he's got a good physique. He
put
has an
together.
awesome, he's very well put together, very hard, very slender, very stiff. Has a great move set. But what really got him over, what fans and much of us wrestling fans, especially nowadays, because comic movies are so huge and shit, was, dude, he would come out as the Joker, as Spawn, as Venom, as Carnage, as
Right.
Anti-Venom, the Punisher, the list goes on and on.
Kind of like what Rey Mysterio has done over the years too.
Right,
Where
but
he'll have superhero themed
outfits, yeah. But in my opinion, a little bit cooler than Rey Mysterio, you know?
Right.
Like, dude, having his whole body painted up like that
Yeah.
look fucking sick. And so WWE's answer is like, well, we don't want to get sued or pay royalties to these companies that like Marvel or whoever owns these characters, which I'm assuming is why
Although when he's the Demon King, like he still is ripping off Venom. So
Venom and Carnage
right.
or symbiote, you know.
Yeah.
But I can't get behind the Demon King. You know, there's too many demons in WWE. It's like Kane's the devil's favorite demon. By God, Bray Wyatt was raised by a pack of demons, and Glenn Danzig. Speaking of Bray Wyatt, he's been leaving some cryptic tweets on Twitter. Wonder what's going to happen with him if he's going to come back with the
I'm
Wyatt
just
family.
tired with his gimmick.
I am too, because
They totally dropped the
fucked
ball
it.
on that.
They
yeah.
fucked it. And another guy I'm sick of, who I still think has potential, but I'm just done with, is Braun Strowman.
Yeah. Well, because they didn't give him the push he deserved.
Hold on, check it out.
Get these hands.
Yeah, get these hands, get this dick. Look at this dick. Bringing out that OG, triple OG. Remember Terry Crews in Friday After Next? He's like sitting there like, Tupac, you so gangsta. I watched that last night, so I had to bring that in.
So some of the
Hold up, one. Not to cut you off real quick, but there was one more thing. I kind of spaced myself out. So I wanted to send a shout out to WWE on that and Triple H mainly because, dude, it was fucking great. You guys, if you have the network, go back and watch the NXT Takeover UK. And it's so weird to say
Blackpool.
NXT UK Takeover Blackpool.
Yeah.
It's a fucking mouthful.
waka waka waka.
Gosh. Great show. The best WWE product I've seen in a long time. But that's almost any time they do NXT shows. They're all fucking, they should be running the show, not Raw and SmackDown. But the other cool thing, for those of you that aren't aware, Nigel McGuinness, who was also Desmond Wolfe in TNA wrestling, who is a legend in the, British wrestling community. He's a former ROH Pure champion and World Heavyweight champion. They had a killer fucking documentary on him, and that's the one thing you don't see. Yeah, you could check it out. What is it called? It's like Making the Magic or something like that. And dude, and it's still to me so surreal because they show like clips and they mention TNA and they're straight up saying like, oh, going to TNA wrestling, and they have AJ Styles and Kurt Angle on there, and Kurt talks about how when he came in they had this hell of a match and this and that. Just a great fucking documentary. They really don't do that much anymore.
In my opinion, Desmond Wolfe was part of the funniest segment ever in wrestling.
Oh, the Jay Lethal, the woo off.
God, that was
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah. He's like, how are you? So I fun of a legend.
He's like, you couldn't even control Chelsea.
Yeah. Did I just hear?
You can't. That's my line.
That's my line. 16 times. 16. 60 times. 60.
Hey. Longest ride. Or oldest ride. Longest line.
Longest cock. He's like, I can have anybody here I want, even that fat one.
You don't know 60 minutes in the ring or in bed.
Yeah, I get 60 minutes of sleep. What are you talking about, Rick?
So would you say that, how would you rank this era of wrestling currently? Because we had the Golden Age, which
we're just starting.
children.
That's the beautiful thing is like this era, my opinion, and I don't know too much about, like, when we were kids and we lived, we're relatively, I think I'm a year older than you.
Yeah.
We both went through the golden age of wrestling, which is the 80s.
Yeah.
The Hulk Hogan era, whatever people want to call it.
We all had the things we didn't like.
Yeah. Anyways, that was kind of like we were little kids and we didn't notice that. I mean, it was already there and it was just huge.
We just didn't realize how good it was.
Right. I mean, we did because we all fell in love with it. But
we realize now.
Yeah. Well, then, and going into like the early 90s where WWF was getting really stale.
Yeah.
And once the whole NWO thing took off, you got to watch that. And it wasn't even really a growth. It was just like an explosion immediately.
And why was wrestling so good at that time?
I mean, at that time it was so, because here's the thing, kayfabe was still sort of relevant back then. And people with the NWO, and I've talked about this many times, thought that like, okay, I know what wrestling is, but why the fuck are these guys there and in this character? And hey, wait a minute, are WWF really sending in like, trying to do a hostile takeover? Like, what's going on? It was still very believable. And you also had ECW, which broke onto the scene back then. So it wasn't just the Monday Night Wars.
Would you say the common denominator was competition?
It was competition, yeah. It's best for business.
Which is what's happening right now.
Right. But it's so weird because I've watched it slowly grow over the last couple years. Like where we're at now, we're not even at the tip of the iceberg of the beginning.
Right.
Like, even though this is the beginning of this is, I mean, we're watching even promotions like Warrior Wrestling we have around here, AAW, Black Label Pro, ARW, all these promotions, and they're bringing in top-tier talent. And even if it's not top tier, just giving local guys a shot, it's still, there's so much going on and bringing, it's the return of territories. And I remember I felt this years ago when, WWE was putting on the worst fucking product ever, and they still pretty much are.
Yeah.
And I started seeing like Impact start getting their act together again. ROH was solid as a rock, and then you saw New Japan. And I really think the Bullet Club is a huge reason for a lot of people's interest in professional wrestling, and it was just built off of that. Like these characters that the Young Bucks and Cody and all them, they're young go-hards, as the lads and lassies like to say. They are the ones, the creative minds, this new spearhead of wrestling, like as far as creativity, going out there and working every show like it's your fucking last. And I think that's rubbed off on a lot of people, man. And so we're seeing all this shit now where people like seeing them, they're like, man, I want to do that. Cool. I want to, this company's fucking great. It's inspired me. I'm going to open the doors to my fucking company. And all these, they're sprouting up, dude. It's like, to me, wrestling promotions now and like the territories, it's like when those fucking, what do you call those? Those white puffy dust things they're in the air. What are they?
Pollen?
No, it's not pollen. It's like the things you pluck them and you blow them, the dandelions.
Oh yeah, dandelions.
You know how those things blow
seed.
and the seeds spread?
Yeah.
That's like what I feel is going on right now. And AEW being announced was just the very, very beginning of what was something that was already in place, which is the return of territories.
Exactly. Now, with that said, hopefully this is going to better WWE's product because of
at this
the
point, I
competition.
don't even care, though,
Well, yeah, but chances are it's going to force them into putting out a better product. But do you think that the announcement of AEW hurts or helps organizations that started that basically made AEW possible, like Ring of Honor and New Japan?
I don't think it hurts them necessarily because they have a lot of love, like the Bucks and Cody.
Because New Japan at first said they wouldn't be working with AEW,
right,
and then later on in the week they said that they will be working with them.
Who's to say what happens with that? I don't think it's going to hurt anybody. I mean, maybe in the U.S. market. But New Japan has already established a lot of loyal fucking fans out here and just everywhere. I don't think it's really going to hurt them too much. And I do think down the road, yeah, they might be wanting to do business with them or whatever.
Do you think it will help them at all, though?
I mean, it already kind of somewhat has because
it might help their stars, seeing as how they'll be performing in the States.
well, and
But
the
is
in
it
New
gonna
Japan
put-
world, it's the same thing WWE does, and the whole reason they negotiated deals with Impact is because hey, we have Samoa Joe, Kurt Angle, AJ Styles. You guys have that fucking tape library. We want something. We need to do business together. I think maybe down the road something like that could happen. Because as AEW grows, people aren't going to always, new fans or younger people are going to come in like, hey, who the hell's Chris Jericho or the Young Bucks or Cody?
Right.
They're going to need somewhere to watch the old school shit to get acquainted. That's going to be Ring of Honor, New Japan, even Impact,
Right.
I think there's potential there for business to be done. Do I think it's going to be start off the bat? No, they've already kind of confirmed that with announcing the OWE involvement and not anybody else, but I don't think they're opposed to doing business. The weird thing is you really don't know. Like it's wide open for them.
Right. Now, in the pre-show fist fight, when we were discussing earlier, I mentioned how I think that ESPN should cover all of wrestling. Like right now would be
Yeah.
the perfect time. Obviously WWE has some sort of deal with ESPN, which is why they cover, the major pay-per-views. But I think it would be best in ESPN's interest to capitalize on the
Well, yeah, and
the growing competition and the upstarting, maybe not upstarting companies, but the rival competition.
I totally agree. But if ESPN won't do it, maybe somebody else should.
Well, like AEW said, they're gonna count wins and losses and rankings and stuff.
Yeah, they're
Well-
getting really and I know with the Fox deal with SmackDown going there on Fridays and Fox stating we clearly want a less parade, less like circusy show and more of a true athletic competition.
Right.
It's kind of wrestling has gone back to the basics. I mean, you still like we were talking earlier, there still is the pageantry and all the over the top shit, but even the guys who are doing some of the craziest shit right now are some of the most technically sound and I hate motherfuckers that knock the whole spot monkey shit, this, and that. If a guy can do something like that and get paid and make people like go, holy shit, and open their eyes, that's that's the future of wrestling.
Well,
People are so against change. I don't get it.
Have you seen that Rey Mysterio started doing a Canadian Destroyer?
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
Everybody has, and we've talked
Well, that's
about
crazy because WWE doesn't allow pile drivers, but then the Canadian Destroyer, fuck, that's more dangerous than a pile driver.
Yeah. And that's, dude, we, I forgot what episode we did, but we were talking about that in the past, like some of my favorite finishing moves. I think it was the episode I did with comedian Jeff Webb, the Impact episode. So you guys can go on jpdub.com and look for that. My favorite finisher probably of the last 20 years is Canadian Destroyer.
Yeah.
It was, but it's getting kind of
Made
tainted
popular
now.
by Petey Williams.
Yeah. It's kind of been tainted now. It's been
Well,
so
everybody's
overused.
doing it now. Pentagon does it.
Yeah, but it was so fucking amazing. Like
'cause you'd never
remember the
seen it
first time
before.
you seen that?
Well, even
like
even
that and the Muscle
fe-
Buster.
Yeah, the
and,
female buster or the female buster.
I'd be a female buster.
The female
The
wrestlers
TD
are even
driver.
doing Canadian Destroyers now.
yeah.
Like, it's
It's a
as
little
common
weird.
as a super kick now.
But here's the cool thing about that is, hey man, kudos to Petey Williams for that because he'll forever be etched in the annals of wrestling
He's
history.
The innovator.
Yeah. So yeah, that's super cool. As far as the whole AEW thing, thank you, Lagunitas, a little something. Sipping it down, making me belch without a frown. AEW is going to be super huge. I'm super pumped about it. You guys out there listening can still catch up on what's going on with Being the Elite. And real quick, something before we close off tonight, a little story you were telling me about what WWE was offering Hangman Page, Cody, and the Bucks to come in.
Yeah.
You got anything you want to elaborate on?
Yeah, with the Bucks, they were going to, they have the Being the Elite
Right.
show on YouTube, which
Super fucking dope. You guys can check it out. New episodes every Monday. Actually, one just came out. This is being recorded on a Monday, so you can check out Change the Universe was the title of this week's episode. Check it.
and so I guess they were offered AJ Styles money,
Right.
As I read it.
Probably be a couple million or something like that at least.
Oh, I imagine at
Six
least
figures, I heard.
5 million. I'd imagine. And they were also going to make Being the Elite
On the network.
a weekly show on the network. Yeah,
Right.
And then as far as Hangman Page, they had offered him main event money to be the top star in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously,
another part of that, which I don't know if you read. Here's the weird thing: is WWE never does this, but this is how bad they were trying to sign these guys. They gave them a 6-month window. If they didn't like how they were being pushed or anything, they could have got out and got out of their contracts, and they still said no.
Yep. Because they knew, they were all WWE was just going to try and tarnish them because they are characters that they did not create.
Right.
And anything that WWE did not create, they bury.
I have to destroy what I don't create.
Another quick note: there's a new faction in Ring of Honor called Lifeblood.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about it. Go ahead. You got the rundown of the stablemates in that?
Yeah. We got Tennille Dashwood, formerly
AKA
known as
Emma.
Love Emma. I guess Tracy Williams, Mark Haskins.
Okay, Mark Haskins, a British wrestler, I believe, competed in Impact.
Yes. David Finlay, the son of Fit Finlay,
Right.
and Bandito.
Nice.
Also,
Bandito's
Juice Robinson. Sorry.
Oh, yeah,
Sorry.
Juice
Forgot
Robinson.
about Juice.
That faulty Juice. Nowadays, everybody want to talk. Like, got something to say, but none comes out when to move the legs, motherfuckers. I can't even do it. I'm not a rapper. I'm not Parappa. Go somewhere else if you want to hear that shit.
Parappa the Rapper. And in other news, Justin Credible has been released from prison. Or
Well, that's
jail.
good. Yeah, I think
Whatever.
what was in there, drugs or some shit.
It was like fucking disturbing the peace and domestic.
Well, we do that every
violence
week.
yeah.
Not the domestic violence, the disturbing the peace. I swear I didn't. Tupac, you so gangster. OG, triple OG.
And WWE is saying that they never told people they couldn't come in with AEW shirts.
Yeah, we all know
Even though
that's
there's
bullshit.
video proof that they did.
Yeah, they're scared, and here's the thing, man. We'll give it a final thoughts on the whole situation with WWE, AEW. Once they strike a TV deal, and here's the thing: as big of a financial backer as they have, they once they start and get their TV deal, it's not going to be like they're strictly straight up competing with WWE off the bat because there's you can't do that.
No.
I mean, as much as we may be disheartened with WWE at the moment, they are a fucking well-oiled
They're
fuck
a
machine.
billionaire brand.
Yeah, even though the Khans got more money.
An established
Right, they've been
billionaire
around 50, 60 years now at this point. They know what they're fucking doing, and they have a niche audience that they'll forever have. Because, let's face it, there are those fucking marks that when WWE was at its fucking worst, they
You
were
mean
just...
how they are right now?
Yeah, when Barry Horowitz was
might be
getting
their-
over...
Yeah, this might be their worst era. Well, yeah, aside from the Aldo Montoya.
But
Barry
it's
Horowitz.
so weird that it is. I agree with you on that. It's their worst era, and they have the best talent.
Yeah.
Like, they really do have some of the best
It's 'cause
fucking
they have
talent.
the worst writers.
Yeah, well, in the whole operation, just how it's done. And, Vince, to me, his time's up.
Yeah.
Let Triple H run everything. I think NXT, the way that show is presented and how it's done and written, could work on a Raw SmackDown level without sacrificing the integrity of sponsorship and losing funding. You don't have to go back to the Attitude Era. Because as much as I loved it, a lot of that was garbage, dude.
Plus, it's never coming back. But it does seem like Impact is trying to capitalize on WWE being public.
Oh, yeah.
To where now they're going to do Attitude Era type shit.
And I think they can do it in a somewhat better way.
Well, did you notice that they decided to go that direction on their first episode on the Pursuit channel?
Well, yeah, and that's what Moose, when we met him, he was saying they were going to go edgier.
Yeah.
And I had heard reports, seen reports they were going to do, and that's why the later time slot, because they wanted to do edgier storylines.
Big Papa Pump.
Yeah. A lot of that, though, much to the credit of Don Callis.
Yeah.
From what I've heard. And Cyrus the Virus, man. I mean, the guy knows his fucking wrestling. I mean, shout out to him. I
miss his Bindi.
Yeah, right. I think Impact has a bright future ahead of them. And the other cool thing, they are also streaming now on Twitch simultaneously as they air on Pursuit channel.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people were like, oh, well, what the fuck is Pursuit? I was one of those people.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. If you have a fucking phone, guess what? You got Impact. If you got a fucking tablet,
free.
yeah, you got Impact. You got all this shit. So do them a favor, watch their shit, buy these guys' merch, support them, because a lot of you fucking haters out there have still been hating. I don't get it. And you're what makes the wrestling business not fun. Because you just want to shit all over everything when you should be getting the brown swirly special yourself. So,
well, speaking of merch, real quick, Phoenix also just announced today he's got a new Mexican shirt out on his website. Pretty cool. It's got like a Superman POW type thing across the chest, and then it's got a bunch of little masks all over it.
Crest.
Yeah, whatever. But anyways, yeah. Before we sign off, I also wanted to ask you. Where do you want them to end up? Where do you see by the end of their contract with Impact? Where do you see the Lucha Brothers? Because Phoenix wouldn't go into detail. He
they
just said
really wouldn't.
2019 is going to be a good year,
and that is, and basically for them, I mean, and they are smart businessmen, obviously. I think they're just I couldn't even tell you. They're going to wait now. I do see, like, I know Impact kind of gave him a low ball. What was it?
How long is their contract with?
I don't know. I do not know that. I do not know. But I think it's got to be up this year.
Also, they're also the Lucha Brothers are putting out like a line of Puma backpacks, with different designs on them.
Are they
pretty
doing that?
fucking cool? Yeah,
I saw that those were getting airbrushed.
Yeah. No, they're going to be releasing them. They just said really soon. Yeah, but I think they're really fucking cool.
Yeah.
If you guys check out, it's just Ray Phoenix MX on Instagram. Ray spelled Rey like Rey Mysterio. Phoenix Fenix MX. And you can check out the new line of merchandise that the Lucha Brothers are putting out. It's really fucking cool shit. So,
fuck yeah! And while you're on there, you can also check us out at Juice Pro Wrestling. You can hit us up on Twitter at JPW Podcast. We're on any podcasting platform, so that means whether you use iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, iHeartRadio, any of that shit, you can find us and join the action. You can also hit us up on Facebook at Juice Pro Wrestling and join the group that I alluded to before, the GB Woo.
And which
I love you.
Which network is that?
That's on the Green Door Network.
Thank you.
Yeah, greendoornetwork.com. You can find us there. jpdub.com will lead you directly to our YouTube page. So thank you to everybody who has recently gone and subscribed and all the positive feedback we've gotten from people. We really appreciate it. We try to do our best. You know, we're just some dudes having fun talking fucking wrestling and hopefully giving you guys some fucking insight and entertainment.
And 2019 is going to be a good year.
It's going to be fucking crazy. Yeah, it's going to be fucking intense. We're going to be doing a lot of things here, a lot of different things. So you guys stay tuned for that. And like I said, thank you all for your support. We're here every week, and we're fucking tearing shit up because we like to
settle miedo.
Wet 'em up. Wet 'em up.
Wet 'em up.
Wet 'em up. Wet 'em up. Wet 'em up. Wet 'em up. Wet 'em up.
Let 'em up.
Oh, yeah. My Undertaker. My underwear. I couldn't find him. Wet him up. You gonna do sex to me?